But we have breaking news. How about this? Cody Bellinger re-signs with the New York Yankees. It's official. Jeff Passan just putting this out. It's had to be about a half minute ago. Bellinger's deal with the Yankees, 5 years. JP, your reaction?
First of all, a little bit of New York inside baseball for the Bellinger agreement to become public right in the middle of the Bo Bichette press conference. For those of us that enjoy the stagecraft of baseball news, I think we take note of this.
That's a good point.
The Yankees, and again, we'll wait to see what the AAV is on the Bellinger deal. This was certainly, and I could tell by the tone of your voice as you delivered the news, this was where the Yankees' comfort level has been and is and was with Bellinger. 5 years. Not 6, not 7, 5.
Right.
And
also not 3, not 2, not
correct.
some. Right. Then we don't know what the AAV is.
Correct.
But right, this is kind of the new trend, and we're going to get to the trends where it's the money is higher, but for a shorter period of time.
And my understanding, BK, is the Yankees have been at 5 years with him for a long time. Now, in the last 48 hours, did they up the AAV by $1 million or more to make sure that this deal got across the finish line? Perhaps. We'll wait to see what that information is. But there is no doubt that in terms of this contract, and we'll see again how many opt-outs there are in this or what the terms are exactly, if they're able to get and keep Bellinger for the full 5 years versus the Mets having the potential of player opt-outs for their big guy after year 1 and year 2, you'd have to say advantage goes to the Yankees, at least on today's scorecard of how they're doing in the offseason.
Look, Bo Bichette is a big impact player, and he was a 3.5-win player, but he only played, 139 games, I believe, this year. He missed most of September. He was injured. He's an impact guy. Cody Bellinger, here we go, 5 years, $162.5 million from the Yankees.
38.
What is that?
38 and change.
38
Is that right?
That's a high AAV,
and
man. That's so there's when you have Aaron Judge making 40, and Aaron Judge is AAV, $40 million a year. And
33 and change.
33 and change. Okay, you're better at the quick math than I am.
And yet, when you do the math on this, what deal would you rather have? That contract or the Kyle Tucker contract? I think the Bellinger deal for a player who, honestly, if you look at a side-by-side of their 2025 performances, there is a case to be made with wins above replacement, different metrics, that Bellinger had the better year. He also, Jason, is the more versatile defender. If I look at those two contracts in isolation, the Yankees with Bellinger, in my view, did better than the Dodgers with Tucker.
Let me just throw out the right numbers. It's 5 for 32.5. So 5 years, the AAV is 32.5. That's all right. We're not defaulting you for that. Kyle Tucker is 4 at 60. 60. Again, I had to, like 4 into 240 is not that complicated. And yet when I was home and I saw the breaking news, I had to do the math. I almost had to write it out. I'm like, 6 and a 0. It's a mind-boggling average annual value. I'm with you on Bellinger, though. He comes off a year where, look, he's a mercurial performer. We need to point that out. He was once MVP. He was MVP level for a few years. Then he went into a trough with an injured shoulder where he had 2 years. He was one of the worst hitters in baseball for a guy who played regularly. However, he's baseball-y. And what's the word we use on MLB Now all the time? Baseball-y. How is your baseball IQ? How do you run? How is your base running? How is your fielding? And then can you also hit? And last year, to your point, JP, he hit well. He also, on a team that is kind of large and sluggish in a lot of ways, he was a dynamic defender and base runner, so the Yankees get their man.
Yeah, that's the other thing that really jumps out at me is the Yankees know he fits their team. The Dodgers really don't know the fit with Kyle Tucker. The Mets don't even quite know the fit with Bo Bichette, right? But the Yankees have seen Bellinger close up. They know that this works. What's amazing is, this was the Yankees' #1 priority from day one of this offseason. Think how long it took.
All right, so here's your comparison. You want to just do the on-base and the slugging. Now, Tucker's a little bit of the advantage. We're looking at Bellinger also has the highs and the lows all over this, whereas Tucker's more consistent, but he's been injured, whereas Bellinger has had a solid MVP year. Wait, we have more details. There are opt-outs. This again, Jeff Passan, opt-outs after the second and third season, $20 million signing bonus, full no trade as well. Can I just step back for a moment? Is it me, or in this, all I hear is the fear of the lockout? Oh no, the lockout, we're not going to be playing baseball. It seems like players are getting paid, right? Am I missing something? Players are getting flat out paid right now, at least in the average annual value.
They are. And now, notably, for Bellinger, the opt-out comes after year 2, so after 2027. You avoid
the new CBA.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
You avoid the uncertainty of next off season if you have the opt-out after year 2 as opposed to year 1. There is no question, if we talk about these 3 contracts, at least in my mind, Tucker, Bellinger, Bichette. The one I like the best is Bellinger. Probably the second best would be Tucker, just because of the term and the player. Bichette's the one I like the third best because the club is assuming all of the risk. If he goes out and has a poor season, Jason, he won't opt out, and the Mets have to keep paying him, and we don't even know. And one of the most staggering things about that news conference, he was asked only one question about playing third base. He basically answered it in 2 sentences. I wanted to play whatever position allowed me to go to the best winning situation. I wanted to be a Met. Period. We didn't hear anything about, I'm working out with this third base guru. This is why I think I'm going to be a good third baseman. There was no follow-up from the team. We've evaluated him. We think this is why he's going to be a good third baseman. Nothing. And
it's only been a third baseman since Friday.
Also,
since Friday.
can I throw away? He had not played second base at all. He got to the World Series, hadn't played in a month. The first ball hit up the middle. He gloves it and fires it sidearm and throws it. It's a different, but usually third base is easier. To go from short to third is easier than second. I'm not saying he can do it. No, you're right to question. You have to ask, hey, by the way, it's a different position. It's slightly different.
It's a big question.
But it's a medium question. I think a shortstop, and his defensive metrics are not great, but normally a shortstop can go to third base. Do you agree or disagree?
Normally, but okay, here's my observation, big picture. David Stern's on record saying we need to get better defensively. That's right out of the gate in the offseason.
Yeah.
Run prevention.
Yes.
And now he has a third baseman who has never played third base. I don't know exactly what's going to happen at first base, but there's a really good chance whoever plays first base has not played very much there.
Also,
that's a lot of uncertainty defensively at the corners.
The run prevention, again, it was a mantra from David Stearns, who's, again, he's the highest paid general manager in the game. He's considered one of the very, very best. They just made a trade for Luis Robert to play center field, who's had good defensive metrics, but is a sometimes indifferent center fielder playing alongside Juan Soto. And Bichette, not good metrics at shortstop, probably can hold it down at third, but we're not sure. But yeah, that's the run prevention thing. They did not follow through on that. I think we're safe to say that they did not follow through. They did not go out and say, let's get the best fielding team we can out there.
This is the offseason. The headline is, this is the offseason of, I think, I hope, it might work out. And that's basically the headline on this.
And here's a boatload of money.
Correct.
But the salaries are huge here. Now, I've often said, and on this program, we've been on the air 15, 16 years now, these big money contracts, the regret comes from not the money. It's never the money, it's the length. So while I'm saying this is an enormous amount of money, when you're doing a 3-year, 4-year deal, even a 5, like even the Pete Alonso deal is 5 at 30, you're out of that contract before you're regretting it, normally.
Yeah, now, Steve Cohen, I hear, has the money.
Sources say, yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about him being able to afford this, but all of these come with a 110% tax rate at this point. So Bo Bichette at $42 million a year is actually going to cost them around $90 million a year.
Wow.
Luis Robert, when you add in the tax, becomes a $42 million a year gamble. And I find that fascinating because I think David Stearns is amazing at his job, but when I look at how the pieces have fit together in their offseason, I cannot believe that whatever the master plan was, this was it.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Look, all right, again, take a step back. We're talking about the Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. This is hedge fund baseball, baby. This is big-time baseball. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was talking to Tom Schieber, who's with the Hall of Fame here. We're talking about the 1869 Cincinnati Red Stockings that went undefeated. What was their competitive advantage, 1869? They paid the players. It's always been a way to have a better baseball team. Let's pay these guys better. So it's all good. But we are talking about where, for the Dodgers, Mets, and Yankees, in a lot of ways, JP, it's just money. Right? And they're saying, we got money. It's our advantage. Pirates can't do it. Reds, they're on the make. They're going to chase us down. Brewers are spunky, winning 97 games. No, we're going to outspend them, and we're going to beat them.
They're playing a different game.
Yeah.
They're playing a different game. And all of us that work in baseball, love baseball, have friends who are baseball fans, we have heard it for days now since the Tucker signing especially. It seems like that's a watershed moment in the acknowledgement of just how different the game is for the largest market teams even to the mid-tier, even the teams that are slightly even above average in market size and revenue, they feel as though they cannot compete with the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees. And these are the teams, BK, that we're talking about. And there's no accident that these are the teams that are making the big-time investments, whereas one of the other Mets targets this offseason, supposedly in trade, Tarek Skubal, hasn't moved anywhere yet, but the Tigers notably have not signed him yet. And there may be a day on this show a year from now where there's similar breaking news about him signing with another large market team.
Can't even imagine the money. Again, even to back up a little further on this, again, these are 3 quality players, but winning the winter is not a guarantee.
Right.
Sometimes, I've said this many times through the years, sometimes you're better off as a general manager finishing second. Hey, we finished second on this guy. We didn't get him. Sometimes you're better off. It's not the best way of doing it, but the Mets, Dodgers, and Yankees, they are kind of ensuring the floor. And the floor is get into the tournament. Now, the Mets fell short last year, but you're giving a more percentage of certainty that you're going to be good enough to get your 89 to 90 wins, get in the tournament, and have a shot at a World Series.
Yeah, and that's really the philosophy at this point. I mean, I know you're not talking specifically about the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have lived this. You know, they've had those years where they won 100, won 103, won 106, won 107, won 111.
Yeah.
And it didn't guarantee them anything. So look at how they went about the season last year. It was the longest spring training in history. They felt like they clinched the postseason opening day. And they went about the season just making sure that they were going to be healthy when they got to the tournament.
Right.
And money is one of the things that allows you to do that. In modern baseball, it just is.